What is up, guys? It's me, Hex, coming at you with another game update. This time, I've got some new stuff. I've pretty much finished the dialogue widget. I had to recode some of it, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's funny because I started it when I first started working on this game, so some of the code is actually like 2 years old. There was a lot of, you know, what in the world is this? Because I've advanced so much in these 2 years in terms of what I know about Unreal and what I know about code. So yeah, I changed a lot of it, but thankfully I had the foresight when I made it to comment everything. So while it is still, pretty big, there's, it's nice and organized, it's nice and neat, pretty orderly. So it's pretty nice, and it works the way I want. So I'm happy with it. Let's see, what did I do in terms of the dialogue? Yeah, I just added some little polish and stuff. I forgot I had that at small. I was testing text sizes at the lowest resolution possible, which you should do if you're making a game or anything really with UI. You should always test it at the smallest size to make sure everything's readable. Where is this? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, I think it'll be a good size because I'm planning on having a Switch release too. So of course you have to make sure you look good on a little tablet screen. But I think if it's too small, I can just make it larger. Nothing bad. All right. Let me turn it down. All right, so I added some polish to the dialogue. Oh yeah, this is the presenting text. It'll turn like bright purple if you want to present to someone. So if you press history while someone's talking, it'll pause the text too. I had that in a very long time ago for pausing, but then I removed the option to bring up the pause menu while in the dialogue screen because it made no sense. And it's like, well, if you can access the pause menu, then you can save, and then now I have to make a save state for the dialogue. That's kind of weird. I'd have to have like one for the dialogue, one for... It would just be a really big headache. I mean, it's certainly possible because there's games that do that, but it's easier just to not have the player be able to save in dialogue, which is what a lot of games do if you think about it. If you're in dialogue, you usually can't save, which is why, sometimes when you gotta go somewhere, you gotta speed through the dialogue, so you can't save. You gotta wait until you can walk around again. So that's the approach I'm taking here. Yeah. So there was that, and what else? Oh yeah, I changed the visuals of the history widget. That's right. So now it has this blue box around it instead of nothing. It had nothing before. Fun fact: this is the old dialogue text box. I still had it after all this time, so I reused it. So if you make assets, make sure you don't delete them because you might use them for something completely unrelated later. What else? More sprites. I mean, Dan has more sprites now, as you saw. I can even show you that. I have way too much stuff near my keyboard. My whole desk is pretty all over the place. Oh yeah, I drew some more. I drew all of them. Well, I colored them in. So Dan has a ton of sprites. Now, in color. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And I added one for Joe too. This one. I'm gonna finish this one really soon because I like it. Yeah. I wanted one of him rolling his eyes because the facepalm one I felt was too extreme. But I didn't want to use this one all the time. So I was like, I want something in the middle. And that's what you do with testing and all that. Alright. What else? Tutorial, that's right. And the bestiary, yes. Okay. So I changed the bestiary a little bit. Oh yeah, and I also changed the settings screen, and I didn't write that down on the... Because I don't know why I didn't write it down. Sometimes I forget. Alright, Almanac. Oh yeah, I also changed the background, the UI thing, to be in the top left-hand corner. Yeah, it's pretty late. The top left-hand corner instead of the center. I think this is a good idea, but I don't think I'm implementing it correctly. I think it's gonna stay here, but I don't think like this, but whatever. So, yeah, I took away the scroll box. that's all I did. So now it's like a flashcard, almost, or deck. What is it called? A trading card. There you go. So this side will have, you know, the matchups, locations, drops, and the moves and attacks will be, well, that's the same thing. The moves and passive abilities and stuff will be on the other side, so it'll flip. And I mean, that's just better, in my opinion, than a scroll box. Scroll box, I mean, for something like this, you don't want to scroll, right? I mean, plus this is what you want to see most of the time anyway, so having a scroll box feels kind of extra, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's what I did for that. And what else? Yes, the settings screen. I changed it. Oh, I forgot to flip these because I did this so recently. Well, I took away from the top because it just did not look that good. So I put them on the side to keep more consistency with like the stats screen and all that. So yeah, they're on the side. Of course I'm gonna flip these, but I think it looks better this way, and it gives more room for this. I mean, you don't need a lot of room for settings. Like most games, they're you know, rather small. I've recently I've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. The menus are like super simple. They're literally just text and like a little particle effect behind them. I'm like, this is a menu, do you? But you know, I digress. It works. It's functional. Nothing wrong with that. I like a little flair. I like a little design. Okay. Oh yeah, that was bringing up my other point about UI. Let me get rid of this. A strange fact about UI is that barely any of them have stuff in the center of the screen for menus. Like, for example, this screenshot, top left-hand corner. Let's see if we can find another one. Here. They tend to use a corner when showing important information. This one is an exception. This one's in the center. But most of them, which I never noticed until now when I had to make my own menu, are in the top left. See here, top left. Let's see another one. I've got so many UI references, man. It's a good idea. This one too, top left. Actually, Token uses the right hand side, just to be different, I guess. But yeah, so even on different screens you can see that. Yeah, it's just a neat little thing I noticed in games. It's a Cyberpunk screenshot. Well, this one doesn't have anything on it, but actually that one's in the center too. I feel like I had a whole ton that weren't in the center, and now I can't find them, of course, that I'm recording. Yeah, this Persona 1, top left. Pokemon, top left. Did a lot of top left. This Bakumatsu Rock one, top left. It's a good corner, I guess. I don't know, but anyway. I also changed the stat screen, I just remembered, and slightly changed it. If I can find it. What was it? I changed something, and I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, I got rid of the scroll box. There was a scroll box somewhere, I got rid of it. I don't know. Well, that's that. So let's get to the meat here and talk about what I added functionality wise. So objectives you can do now, and you complete them. I guess that, rebounds to questing. It's pretty much the same thing, except you talk to someone to complete an objective. But it's like the same exact thing. I could implement it within a day if I really wanted to. Will I though? It's low priority right now because what would it be, like side questing? Yeah. I mean, I can put it in, but I'd rather put it in the story mode right now. But yeah. I'll show you. So I think this goes through the entire. No, it doesn't. Right, because I got rid of it. I think I unplugged it. The prologue. Yes. Well, anyway, I was implementing the tutorial. So you get a picture. You get some explanation text. Of course, this will be like a screenshot, so this will be done like way in the future. Or I could make it a drawing, but that's not as good. So, yeah, and I put this as a test to see if this works, and it does work, so, that's nice. And, you can see text afterwards. Basically, I gotta fix that typo. Basically, this is, the system I came up with, which I will explain within the next couple of minutes, because I forgot about it until now. But, yeah, so this was basically what the introduction would look like. So you can see in the top left, you have the name of the quest, what you have to do. So, yeah. So I added these little investigation things. So you can pick up items now that aren't in chests. So, like in any game, really, where you see like a little sparkly thing or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's an item. You pick on it. That's what I put. So, you can complete one objective, or you can complete all the objective. You can complete parts of an objective now. So, for example, one of them says find an orange. So, let's find that orange. That's actually from the that's actually dialogue from the story. So yeah, I got an orange, and there you go. I have now found an orange, and for some reason I can't move now, which didn't happen before, but now it does because I'm recording. How many such cases? Well, anyway, let's see if it works. What happens here? Oh yeah, evidence, right? So you can acquire evidence now, which is, yeah, this is what it'll look like. So you get a little picture, what it is, and where it's added to. Okay. So you can see both of them got finished now because I did both of them. I investigated the office and I found an orange, so now both of them are finished. I don't know why I can't walk around now, but I'll look into it. Probably has something to do with the acquired widget, which I'll do later, I guess. But anyway, the thing with the references and controllers. So I came up with a method that uses dispatchers instead of using references. So this is a good idea of what I used to do, partly as like placeholder code, but partly is not for some of them. So in Unreal, you can have a function like this, input action, and when you press it, something happens, right? So for example, pause calls this function pause game, checks can you pause, yes or no, and then if you can, it does this. I had a whole bunch for something like let's see, the dialogue was a good example. I used to have a ton of code here because obviously whenever you press, say, talk, if you're not in the dialogue screen, you don't want that function to happen, right? So I had a bunch of like valid checks and all that. It was really just overcoded and bad. A bunch of like references, like I had a dialogue reference. You can even see it here. Um, this is a good example here, this level up reference. So yeah, you have a reference, check validity, if it's valid, do some function or whatever. Pro tip, do not ever do, I wouldn't say ever, because there are times that you do want to use a reference, but if you're doing it for inputs, like spacebar, in this case, don't. Unless your game is really, 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 really simple, because it's not a good idea. So just don't do it in the first place. You're just like, there's no reason for this to happen every time you press the spacebar. It's ridiculous. So, what did I come up with? Well, I came up with event dispatchers. I even set up some here. But if you want a global one, for example, the dialogue widget, you can talk. You can have dialogue. In JRPGs, you can usually have dialogue when you're walking around. You can have some times in battle, like if someone wants to talk to you in battle. Sometimes in menus, so that's 3 different game modes. I mean, are you going to put the same function in each game mode, or are you going to use a global one? The answer is you should use a global one. So in the main game instance, which is the global data handler thing, I have these event dispatchers. So back action, talk action, and these do nothing. Like when they're called, they do nothing at all, and that's good. But what you can do is you can bind something to them, and then you can call it. So for example, here I have talk. It calls talk action from this reference to the main game instance. And what's good about this is this reference will always be valid, because this literally exists everywhere. Like it's at the top of the hierarchy in the game, so it's always there. So having a reference to it is perfect. It'll always be valid every time. It can't not be valid. So this is good. So every time you press talk, I think it's bound to the spacebar and the left click, it'll call talk action, which does absolutely nothing except when you bind something to it. So with the dialogue widget, I bind a function to it at the appropriate time, and then it works. It does the dialogue thing. And then when I'm done with it, I just take it away. I just unbind it, so it then goes back to doing absolutely nothing. And I think that's the most optimal way to handle inputs. I'm not sure, but it's pretty optimal. So if there's a better way, I'd like to know, but I think that's the best way. It's really clean. I mean, it's like I don't need 1,000 references anymore. I just need the one. To here, you can take things away. And it's pretty nice. I can have functions in their own, widget where they belong instead of this. Like, why do I need level up logic in the player controller? That's ridiculous and confusing. So that is my explanation of my code there, and it was probably very unnecessary. You probably were very bored by it, but I wanted to say it. So you can sneed if you don't like it. Well, I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So game's pretty much done functionally. Yeah, it's just chilling. I just have to put in the rest of the story mode, so yeah, that'll be done over the next few weeks. I'll put them in, and yeah, when I'm done with chapter 1, I'll re-release the demo, because I want the introduction to be in it. So yeah, but not chapter 1, because that's too much, and it would be really unpolished and not good. So just the introduction, I think, is fine to have in a demo, the unfinished demo anyway. So yeah, that'll come out maybe within the month. I'm not sure. But yeah, so game's going well. I'm working on it, and I hope you enjoy what you saw. And thanks for following development, I guess. And I guess I'll see you next time.